Welcome in to the Jordy Culotta Show.
Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up.
The line's wrapped around the stadium.
Different strengths. I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Ogeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
A lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to. See, look crazy, Bill.
Good feet on the old man.
Let's go!
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome in to a Wednesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, just like we are every single day here. Remember, you can find all of Go's inventory online at GEAUXchevrolet.com. Shout out to our friends over at Go. They got new cars in Laplace. They got used cars in Baton Rouge at Go Express Auto Sales, and all the inventory is always online. Welcome in to a Wednesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show. We'll be joined by Brody Miller at 8 a.m. this morning. Jacques Doucet will join us at 8:30 this morning in studio. We'll talk a ton about LSU's trip to Florida this weekend and a big college football weekend as it is getting closer here. Alabama and Tennessee feel like it is going to mean something for the first time in a while. We'll talk to Brody about that matchup coming up here on the Jordy Culotta Show. And we will also take your phone calls, take your voicemails, take your entries, take your mailbag entries over inside of the chat. Just use the hashtag mailbag, and we will answer your questions at some point before we get out of here at 9 a.m. this morning. I got to be honest, I'm not going to be productive at all today.
What you got today?
And I got a ton of stuff to do. I mean, I'm pretty busy as far as just the schedule goes. But Little J and the Blue Jays are facing off against the St. Aloysius Lions tonight at Olympia. 7 o'clock tonight. Game's been talked about for forever. The other side's been scouting us for a while. Derry Gluck, who is the CSAA athletic director, and his grandson goes to St. Aloysius. They have sacrificed their 5th grade team for the first couple of weeks of the regular season. Had them square off against Our Lady of Mercy in the Jamboree. Had them square off against us one time in the regular season. St. Aloysius has got enough kids, enough at their school where they can separate both their 5th and their 6th
The excuses
grade
before the game.
Oh, no, these aren't excuses.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
I'm just saying the other side. So we've played their 5th grade team already. Tonight we play their 6th grade team. We're a 5th and 6th grade team.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So we played their 5th grade team in the Jamboree. We've also played their 5th grade team in the regular season.
So
Now,
that's what you mean by sacrifice.
So
yeah,
they
they
sacrificed
the
the
5th
fifth
graders.
graders. Right.
So you've been playing the JV squad.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's on. It's got to adjust the spread.
And, you know, they're complaining about, like, just natural football plays, about being dirty plays. But, you know, I mean, that's what happens when you trot 5th graders out there. You know what I mean? You're like, what do you want them to do? All that is just football. But this game has been talked about for a while.
Where would you set the line?
This would have to be a pick'em. I would say that this would have to be a pick'em.
Neutral site.
Neutral site, Olympia Stadium. Kickoff 7 o'clock. If you're looking for a place to be tonight to go watch some. Last time these two squared off, it ended up on the news. As it was during COVID. And I called Jacques and
super
Cabo.
spreader.
It was. And it was at Olympia.
Was that when Little J like hit the kid?
Yeah.
That's what's on your Twitter.
And you're like, attaboy,
Attaboy 7.
Yes.
Bullying kids.
But it'll be a great little environment tonight over at Olympia in a game that should be fun, man. The parents make so much more of a bigger deal than, look, I'm as guilty as anybody on both sides.
We'll end off the show with it.
For sure. But it'll be awesome
These other parents
to be out there. Yeah, they're crazy.
7:00 tonight. Play the 6th grade team.
Another players-only meeting for LSU. That is no good, man. We talked about this a little bit last week. Players-only meeting for me spells doom, right? Last week we heard there was a players-only meeting. Then you wake up on Wednesday after the players have met with the press, and was it Mekhi Gardner who confirmed in his media availability that they had a players-only meeting on Monday, and said the first thing that was brought up was special teams, and talked about how they needed to clean that up pretty quick if they wanted to win. If they wanted to win out. Gardner said that he thought the meeting went well. Also said Garrett Nussmeier and some other veterans stood up and talked about the unacceptable execution over the weekend. Gardner said they started with special teams, then poured into the rest. He said it was great. It was a great reset for the team. A host of players spoke, young and old, including Garrett Nussmeier. Special teams improvement was among the topics discussed. Gardner said that there was a team-wide players meeting this week after the way LSU lost to Tennessee. The special teams right now 106th in the country, according to ESPN, and it was the topic of conversation inside of the locker room. Hopefully, if that could do anything, if that's one players meeting that could move any type of meter, you would think that would get some guys maybe that have not been either asked or playing on special teams that feel like they have the ability to do it, to speak up and say, hey, put me on the punt team, put me on the kickoff team, whatever it may be, on trying to find the best 11 for those jobs that you're rolling out there. So, it was, I guess, discouraging to see another players meeting come out of LSU. This is 2 straight weeks where you've got the players meeting by themselves. And sometimes, that can be good for teams, programs, whatever's trying to, but when you see them back-to-back weeks and they're happening in, successive and people are talking about it publicly, it's not being kept in-house.
What constitutes a players-only meeting? Does it have to be on campus and without the coaches? Be hey, coaches now, or can they go to an apartment, or is it this has to be because it happened on company time? It's a company problem. Why are we talking about this so much? Why is it a story again? It feels like these guys can get together in a room without a coach and hash some things out. But if you're on the other side of the coin, I could see why the special teams probably wouldn't want their special teams coach in there. Maybe we're trying to find the best 11. Coach, I'll step up. I'll do it. Let me play.
Special teams.
Special teams.
No more West Weeks.
I think the most concerning part to me about it is that it hits the public.
Right.
Really. That you're open to talk about it. I think that has to be some sense of just team code, right? It has to be understood that, hey, look, anything that happens inside the locker room or about the team stays within the team. And if you're having players-only meetings, there's no more representing team than that. And for that to just hit the streets, I don't know. I don't have the experience of running a team or something of an organization at that level, but somebody needs to speak up and say, hey, look, if you're going to talk within the organization or the program, keep that stuff within the program. I think that it's a bad look to have players-only meetings happening back-to-back weeks, because the truth of it is that this stuff probably happens in a lot of teams, on a lot of campuses, in a lot of locker rooms, at every level, and different sports, right? How many players-only meetings do you think the Golden State Warriors have had over the last couple of days and weeks, right? you hadn't heard about that. And did you see what Steve Kerr's reaction was to seeing that video put out? I guarantee you the video department at Golden State no longer exists, to whoever it was. They're looking for a new one.
unless you're.
I mean, because as Steve Kerr said, 20 fights a year happen in the NBA. That's just the first one that you've seen. And Kerr was more pissed about allowing that stuff out into the public. And I think that's probably the message here, in the sense of, hey, look, I don't think it takes a professor-type mind to look at LSU's football on Saturday and say, hey, they got some stuff going on. They're unorganized. They need to figure some stuff out. They got some depth issues. They got some coaching decisions that are being questioned. So it's not like you can sit there and say they're probably behind closed doors, or hopefully talking this stuff out. You don't need it to be confirmed by the team of, hey, we had another players only meeting. It's like, wow. I mean, not only are y'all talking about it with him, but you're telling the public about it. I think that should just be a team code, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it feels like they're more than willing to talk about it. Like, it feels like it's coming unprompted. Like Mekhi Gardner just said it. I don't think he was asked about it.
Yeah.
And same thing with Malik Neighbors, where they're just like, look, this is what we're doing. Kind of, it's almost like a code break a little bit of what a normal locker room is like, right? Doesn't it feel like those players only meetings kind of stay internal? But I guess if you're hearing about them every time, then that's not a code break. But if you have them all the time and you hear about one, that's when you're like, hey, bro, we want to keep that in-house. Like, that's an internal thing. But
yeah.
I guess it's not as big of a deal if they're willing to talk about it to the media. But it's just something that on one side of the coin, you're happy they're meeting, right? You want them to be able to get this thing figured out. But maybe we should already had this thing figured out. We don't need to meet about it. But here we are. You taking bets?
No. We are confirming Jay Bramblett, the punter, is going to be here at 7:30 this morning. So we'll find out.
Special teams leading tackler.
Yeah.
SPOTW.
I'm going to send you his email. Send you this link. All right, so the other news of the day here is that Eli Ricks put out a Instagram post of him at LSU.
Come home,
And
Eli.
got a lot of people talking about what if with Eli Ricks. First thing, I think that it's kind of a conversation that is a scenario that, it's fun to talk about, but it's not realistic. I mean, he can't transfer in and become immediately eligible, right? He's already used that one from the NCAA, and I can promise you that the NCAA is not going to do LSU any favors by allowing him a waiver to play instantly. He could probably go get one at Florida. He could probably go get one at Georgia. He could probably go get one at Arkansas, Texas, or Texas A&M, and get one at LSU. So the fact of, and the conversation of Eli Ricks coming back, you just need bodies in the defensive backfield. Eli Ricks would be great to have for what Brian Kelly is trying to do at LSU and trying to build. Is he worth coming back, sitting out, becoming eligible next year, and really and truly, no offense to Eli, but dealing with him for another season probably ain't worth it. If he could come in and immediately play like Saturday and step in and play the last 6 games of the year and give you another DB and take, and be on his way to the NFL, and he just get, 6 more games at LSU, it would probably be a conversation that LSU would probably likely have inside the coach's office. I think that it's probably 50-50 whether or not you take him back, just because of how he left, the stuff that went on after he left, and, at this point in the program's existence under Kelly, who's got a 10-year deal. But for what it would have to be for Ricks to come back to LSU, and what it would be Ricks sitting out, not becoming eligible until he sat out for a year, and then being able to play, which is very unlikely. Defensive back is a position in the NFL that if you got a little bit of film, that's enough to see that they can evaluate you playing at that level. Otherwise, they'll just watch you test, and if you can test, they'll draft you. And if you can play, you'll stick. I mean, there's been a lot of guys that hadn't played a lot of football that have gotten drafted to play DB in the NFL that have either, sink or swam. And Eli Ricks he doesn't need to play any more college football to prove that he can play, but he's also got a lot of baggage that comes with him. And if you get him in a testing scenario, you'll see his skill level, you'll see his highs, you'll also see what he's not that good at. And there's somebody out there that's going to take a risk on him, whether it's, 5th, 6th, 7th, undrafted free agent round. But for what LSU's trying to do, what LSU's trying to build, I don't, we talk a lot about risk reward with the quarterback play of LSU. I don't see a lot of the reward worth the risk on.
He can't transfer midseason anyway, can he?
No, I think that's what I'm saying. I think all this stuff is it's cooked.
Well, and he doesn't have any pictures of him playing in an Alabama uniform, so he had to post one of him on the field from LSU if that's what he was doing.
He hasn't played.
Right. I mean, what's going on? Is he done?
He just doesn't play.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's enough good players over there where you just don't have to deal with that BS.
You don't want to practice? All right, cool.
Right.
You don't want to run zone? Fine. This guy does.
Number 2,
Kool-Aid does.
Number 3 does.
Yeah.
No, it's the other corner that spot he's going to take. Because Kool-Aid's spot is
locked down.
He's a player.
Yes.
He's a player.
When did he get Kool-Aid taken off the back? Didn't he have it on the back of his jersey last year or no?
Well, he's a freshman,
I
isn't he?
made that up. No, he's a sophomore.
No. He was a freshman last year.
Wow.
He's been out there.
Golly, time flies.
Yeah. But
a lot of former LSU vibes in Alabama right now. Like a couple players that LSU had on their radar were committed to LSU playing at Bama.
Was Kool-Aid committed to LSU?
No, it was LSU and Bama.
Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah, the flip of the coin.
And then what was the receiver's name? JoJo Stone.
Mm-hmm.
No. JoJo Earl was committed to LSU until signing day.
Yeah, and he's out there running around in Alabama.
Bama.
Tough.
But yeah, with the Eli Ricks thing, he obviously isn't playing at Alabama, and I don't think that. I mean, obviously, if he played, he would get drafted higher. But he's not coming back to college for another year. He doesn't have anything to. This is a nothing story. It's just him
playing around.
Yeah, he got it. Got attention. That's what he wanted.
No doubt. Well, he was in trouble here, and he was trying to run from it. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, I guess I'll go over there.
Yeah.
You got a cool hot tub.
What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, the locker room looks cool.
Yeah. Give me number 7.
Might win a ring.
Yeah.
Remember, we're daily brought to you by Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. You can give them a call today at 225-776-2431, 225-776-2431. Mention the Jordy Culotta Show, and they'll take 15% off the bottom line for you over there at Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. They can help you out with all your plumbing needs, whether it's residential or commercial. They are commercially licensed as well, so you can get in touch with them about anything that may be giving you problems at the office or at home as well. In fact, they got general contractors on staff, so the next time you're thinking about a bathroom remodel or a remodel around the house, thinking about Barker Brothers, get in touch with them. 225-776-2431 can help you out with all of your plumbing. Number 1 and a number 2 business, Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. 225-776-2431. Mention the Jordy Culotta Show and save yourself 15% over at Barker Brothers.
Want to hear a crazy stat?
Yeah, hit me.
Tennessee is 0-39 versus top 2 teams since 2007.
Ouch.
Oh.
Ouch. It feels like the days of Tennessee being blown out by Alabama are over.
But could get ugly.
But there is a lot of PTSD for Vol fans that'll be in Neyland on Saturday. I imagine Neyland will be as much of a home field advantage as it has been in that time span. I mean, it'll be rocking.
So many Rocky Tops. If I hear a Rocky Top again,
Saturday,
I heard it. I know it by heart now.
Like, I wanted to jump off the top of Death Valley. Saturday.
Huge spot for Hendon Hooker.
Yeah,
on Saturday.
For sure. Heisman can be won and lost Saturday.
Big draft game, big Heisman game for Hooker coming up on Saturday. Could have that moment that you see.
And their
in New York
is so good.
Their offense is great.
It's going to give Bama fits.
It could. Yeah, I mean, it will. It's very much like Steve Sarkisian and what Texas was. Get rid of it early, put the ball in space.
A lot of movement.
Got to tackle. And, the thing about Tennessee, their offense is that they don't have a weakness. I mean, they committed to the run game last week, and they ran for over 200 yards on LSU. They could because they could do it. And, obviously I believe Bryce Young will probably play.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like he's going to play.
Saban's seen enough of Milroe.
Right.
Like three fumbles last week, interception. I've seen enough of it.
Yeah,
Bryce, what's up?
Yeah, that was the sacrifice game against A&M. He knew that he could probably still win with Jalen Milroe.
Yeah.
And it was close. Alabama still was able to win. You give Bryce Young an extra week's rest to come back for this game. That seemed like
Send link?
he was more comfortable.
Is it at Gmail?
Yeah, we wouldn't smoke him out.
He just sent me like the name, no at like Gmail or Yahoo.
My LSU.edu.
No. Sending it now to you, Stewie.
Dox this man on the show.
Because I tried to send it to a Gmail and it was like, this account does not exist. I was like,
but I think that's going to be a great game this weekend. I can't wait to watch that one at Tennessee. I think Tennessee's got a great game day environment. I think that will be a great home field advantage.
2:30?
What's that?
2:30 Saturday?
Yeah, 2:30. 2:30 Saturday. Game day, too.
Oh, Tennessee hasn't been this far back in a minute.
No.
This is a big spot.
No, it's a huge spot. Huge spot for everybody at Tennessee.
And LSU did Alabama no favors by just absolutely rolling over and getting their belly patted by Tennessee.
Yeah, bye week.
Yeah, they didn't put them through any strain or a hard game or anything like that. It was thank you for coming out, LSU fans. Come get sunburned and listen to Rocky Top for 3.5 hours.
Oh my goodness!
And then you can go home. It was a torture chamber in there.
Number 3 versus number 6.
If I would have heard Rocky Top again, I really would have jumped off the top of the stadium.
So it's Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama,
What's that?
or Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama. The rankings.
As far,
I think Ohio.
Georgia won
Ohio State.
in the AP. Bama still won in the coaches poll.
Okay.
Ohio State 2 and Bama 3 in the AP. Georgia's 2 and Ohio State's 3 in the coaches. So it's all jumbled up.
It's all jumbled up. They just got to play.
Yeah.
When did we're getting close to like CFP rankings coming out, I'd imagine.
I think it's week 6. I think this is it.
Because we'll find out a lot this week. I mean, you'd have to. Tennessee wins, they're going into the top. They'll be in the top 4, and if Alabama loses, they'll probably try to keep them in the top 4.
Yeah, they got a lot of crazy scenarios on
there's been so many losses already.
Well, I mean, think about because Georgia still plays Tennessee. Alabama's going to play the winner essentially of that game in the SEC championship game. So, say this weekend Tennessee beats Bama, loses to Georgia. I say like this weekend's close.
Yeah, but they won't go to the SEC championship.
But they won't go to the SEC title game. But then Georgia goes to the SEC title game and gets beat by Bama.
Oof.
And now you got crazy. 3 one-loss SEC teams.
All to each other.
And one of them is the SEC champion.
And they've all beat one. And Tennessee lost to Alabama, essentially, if they lose this weekend, as the number 1 team in the country. I mean...
They got to pick somebody. That's why we're expanding the playoff.
This could be the season.
Same 3 teams play all over again.
Pass
it to me.
All right, we're gonna let me get this squared up. We're gonna talk to Jay Bramblett, LSU punter, next here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss, loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest, then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online, and stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Their weekly pre-order, freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Here we go.
Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Sports with it.
It's just like anything else. I mean, I don't want to get into hyperbole, but it's, everything is. I mean, frankly, I'm still worried more about concussions. We don't talk about it much anymore, but, we've kind of helped solve it in a lot of ways and make the game a lot safer. So anytime we have existential threats, which this one could or could not be, we just deal with it, and we will deal with it. It's just part of the game. And, I don't mind a lot of what's come out of this movement of doing more for the student athletes, but like anything else, it boomerangs a little too far, and you got to swing it back into, hey, what we do for the student athletes, and it's a hell of a lot, and I'm proud of that fact that we are leaders in doing that. But
question in that game. You're listening to the Jordy Culotta Show live on YouTube. Catch it every day, 7 to 9 a.m., wherever you have internet access.
Oh, my guy, the host of Mac and Cube.
You said you wanted me to close it out.
I listen to his pod every day on WJocks 94. I thought I was going to beat Charlie. I didn't. You were fantastic as always. Have a great call in Missouri. I'll see you soon, man.
Thanks, man. Good
Later.
talking to you, Jordy.
Always. There he is. Cole Kubelik, the absolute best. Don't overthink it, ABC. When you move to a primetime slot,
Good. How are you?
ABC is getting that billing. Make this man the color commentator. He's the absolute best.
Ooh, I mean, what a pro.
What a pro.
I remember telling them, hey, listen, my job here is to make sure that we bring, big time football to a small town environment, right? And so you see on movies sometimes about the way a town reacts to the football program and what it means to everybody. And that was the hopes and dreams that I had for the place. And so our kids take a distinct responsibility in wearing that Z on their helmet. It means a lot to them. And then on the flip side of that, our community does a tremendous job of supporting our program, supporting the athletic department, supporting our school as a whole. And there's really a great relationship there that's a lot of fun to be a part of.
Thank you for the access, man. Looking forward to tonight. We'll talk soon.
Coach, wait, before you go, fix your hair again one more time.
Look at him.
Let's go.
Yes. Look at him.
What do you think about that?
Game day,
what do you
baby.
think about that?
Game day. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it, man. Great to see you. Thank you.
You too, guys. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.
All right, man. There he is. There he is. My guy. David Brewerton checking in. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet every single day. Remember, check them out online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. All right, a bright spot on the special teams all season long has been transfer punter Jay Bramblett, as he has been not only booming punts, but the dude is a hell of an open field tackler, as he showed off last week versus Tennessee. He is here representing a really cool cause, man. He is raising money for pediatric cancer throughout the season, and we're going to give him a platform, as much as he wants one, to promote on how we can help him raise as much money as possible. As we welcome in the Tuscaloosa native, the Notre Dame transfer, and now LSU Tiger.
Thank God.
Our guy is here talking this morning. Jay, good morning. How are you, man?
Morning. I'm great. How are you?
Wow, look at that, bro.
Oh, he's sharp for class.
Wow,
Let's go,
fresh
dude.
shave, crisp blue eyes, looking sharp this morning.
Sharp for my workout.
All right, so everybody's talking about the special teams, bro. Is everything good? Everything's good, right?
It is. I think this is some stuff that just needs to be worked out. I personally don't think it's a lack of coaching. I think guys kind of we gotta have some buy-in, and we gotta figure some things out, and hopefully that'll work itself out as we go week to week.
You guys got a heck of a challenge this week in Florida as you scout them. What do you see?
Nothing too crazy. In terms of punt, they'll pressure a little bit. A lot of returns. Good returner. Not a super fast guy, but bigger, stronger dude than we've seen. We've had a lot of electric returners, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
So not as much speed as we've seen the past few weeks.
Yeah.
But I'll speak in terms of my job.
Sure.
So
yeah, tackling
that's what
them.
I've got.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're very familiar with the coaches and the staff. What has it been like in this transition? Your time at Notre Dame, and now just 6 games into this here now at LSU.
Yeah. I think with every change, there's going to be some things that you got to figure out, get comfortable with, and that's for me as well. Coach Pauling and Coach Kelly have had to take a little bit of a different approach, I guess you would say. I speak very highly of them. I appreciate them. They gave me the opportunity to play there and here now. I think their resumes speak for themselves. I think that says a lot about buy-in and what guys want to do, and us. We can be as successful as we want to be.
Yeah.
And it's just everybody coming together for that. So,
what has your experience in the SEC been like?
Everything I hoped it'd be so far.
Really? Yeah.
Obviously, would love to win more games.
Sure.
And that's certainly what we're working for. But weather's been great. Competition's been great. The venues have been awesome. Playing in Tiger Stadium is certainly incredible. For me, I've never seen a game in there until this year, so that was pretty neat. And hopefully, go win a few more here and create a few more atmospheres like the ones we've had. So
you got a really cool cause happening all season long here, your senior year in Baton Rouge, as you're raising awareness and funds for pediatric cancer. How can we get involved? How can we help?
So the easiest way to do it, check out my Twitter page, Instagram or Facebook, and there's a link in my bio, and then there's a tweet pinned. But it's through a organization called Alex's Lemonade Stand, and it's called Kick It for Cancer. Generally, people pledge money per yard I punt or kick. Unfortunately,
nice.
the NCAA is not about anything with your performance, which I think is stupid, but here we are.
Add it to the list, Jay. Add it to the list, buddy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But anyway, you can go on there, make a flat donation. If you've ever known anybody with any childhood cancer, you kind of understand the struggle. I think last year we raised just over $8,000, which in the grand scheme of things doesn't sound like a whole lot, but I think we as players have a platform to do different things, and so why not use it, even if it is the smallest of things. So anyway, you can check out my Twitter. Go on there; it'll take you to a website. And you can do a flat donation, and if you can't donate, just sharing and reposting, whatever helps. So,
thank you for allowing us to help promote this, man. Looking forward to helping in any way that we can coming up throughout the season. Best of luck this week.
Thank you very much. I appreciate y'all.
You got it, man. Jay Bramblett, LSU punter, checking in this morning with a great cause. You can check it out on our Twitter. Make sure we're retweeting that.
Yeah, I posted a link in the bunker.
Nice.
And I pinned it to the top of the page.
We will retweet it and have it all over our social media.
What's stopping people from what if it just happens to be happenstance that I donate set amount of money for the amount of yards? Like, are they going to look at the books and see that they just happen to line up? Like,
Probably.
He punts for 160 yards, and then people give $160 and be like, "Why'd you do that?" Like,
the
I don't know, I just felt like,
they'll create a sub
section
of anti-player.
Don't put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, you know how they do it.
Yeah, don't get paid for player performance. I don't know where you get that crazy idea.
Anti-player performance.
Right. We don't want you to be
NCAA.
good, but don't be too good.
Yeah.
It'll be making money. Yeah.
So we appreciate Jay Bramblett
force.
for stopping by here on this. That was probably some pretty uncomfortable questions to start off with. I think he was coming here thinking that he was, pushing the calls, which we were, and I didn't mean to catch him off guard there. But I mean, the topic is hot.
One for you,
right?
one for me.
I mean, it is the topic that is surfacing and obviously being talked about everywhere. And look, I think this is a storyline that LSU has, helped in creating, right? I mean, when you have guys like Mekhi Gardner speaking to the press and talking about players-only meetings that are happening, and the first things that are being discussed at the players-only meetings is the special teams, then you understand, while we've talked for the last 5 weeks of they look like they got some big issues on special teams. They got some issues on special teams. It looks like they got some things going on special teams, and then come to find out they got some real things going on special teams behind, closed doors. That's what makes this stuff, puts fuel on the fire for platforms like we have. It kind of confirms the stuff that we've been talking about. So Jay Bramblett there was kind of talking about how, look, it's his experience with the staff and with the players meeting was like. So daily, we're brought to you by Edward Jones. Remember Daniel Newman, daniel.newman at edwardjones.com. Daniel.newman at edwardjones.com is where you can find him. Online, daniel.newman at edwardjones.com. He's out in Central. We're going out there this morning. Looking forward to going to see our financial advisor. If you're looking for fiscal advice, whether it is with an investment strategy or if you work at within the industrial space and you work within the plant industry, he can help you out. He's got tremendous experience within that industry. Check him out and email him today, daniel.newman at edwardjones.com, daniel.newman at edwardjones.com. MFC Tom 961 says thoughts on Eli Ricks post.
Wait,
what a source.
Say that name again.
NFC Tom 961.
There we go.
All right.
I'm sure his Twitter's electric.
Yeah.
I got some thoughts.
Thoughts on the Ricks post.
You tell us, what are you talking about?
I mean, we talked about it a little bit a couple of minutes ago. Realistically, I don't think that it's an option, right? I mean, I think that it's fun to, I guess he's flirting with his ex, but I mean, in reality,
there's a restraining order.
There's nothing that can be done,
right?
I mean, you remember when you went on Instagram and posted your number 7 at Alabama, and kind of pointing back at Baton Rouge and talking about your time getting away from here, all the stuff that was left behind in Baton Rouge when he packed up and left. I mean, there was a lot of baggage, not only that he took with him to Tuscaloosa, a lot of baggage he left behind in Baton Rouge. So, and realistically, for him to play at LSU, he would have to sit out a year at this point. I mean,
he's already doing that.
He doesn't have to do that. He doesn't. At a cornerback in the NFL, if you have the measurables and can play, they don't care if you were suspended and were late for meetings. I mean, they'll draft you in the 6th, 7th undrafted free agent, but if you can play and can get on the field, you're going to play. So, Brad David, Jordy, I know it's football season, but are you going to have McMahon on your show? I'd imagine you're talking about Greg McMahon. He's on the Texas staff.
I think he's talking about the basketball coach.
Oh, Matt McMahon. Yes, absolutely. We will at some point here.
Basketball team looks kind of solid.
They do.
Looks like we got a little squad.
Still miss my man. We need an update from him, too, at some point. We'll hear from him.
He's just hanging out right now.
Was that answer a little concerning from Jay? I didn't want to, double down. Obviously, I don't know if he was prepared for the question, but he said we need some guys to get some buy-in. That's what the team meeting was about. That's not what you really want to hear.
I mean, special teams is attitude.
I don't feel like you. I don't think you snuck up on him. He had to have known that was a possibility of a question coming in, but the answer was not great. It was honest.
Special teams is attitude. You gotta want to play special teams. You can't just go out there and be like, I'm on special teams. It's important. And when you go out there, you gotta know it's important and act like it's important and play like it's important. But we also don't have the right personnel out there to be important on special teams.
But if you're on the special teams and that's all you're doing, wouldn't that be the most important thing that you're doing?
Yes.
This is my chance to go make a play, coach. And instead, it feels like it's a whole lot of run around with your head cut off.
Yeah. Just need a plan. Really. They don't have a plan. They're out there just kind of running around.
Are y'all going sky kick for the first? If you're going to kick or receive, if you kick, you sky kicking tonight against Aloysius.
Surprise onside.
They did that on their last game. Somebody told me. I didn't see it.
You got some film?
Yeah. We can play the film game all day. You know what I mean? You want to go get your film out there? We get film.
We got film.
No, they both big punters in this game. Generally not the case in a 6th grade football game.
No, not at all.
But both sides have.
That's private school ball, though. Yeah. Got some white soccer players out there.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Why don't you come play football for a couple days out the year?
I must have went to the only private school that didn't have a kicker.
Really?
We did not have a kicker.
Wow.
They still don't have a kicker.
Wow.
Ours went to Tulane on a scholarship. Ginsburg, shout out. Hebrew Hammer.
We had a kicker 1 year and he pulled his hamstring. Like, bro, you aren't even fast. Like, how did you pull your hamstring?
I don't know what he was doing.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right back on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O-Shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at JordyCulottaShow.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
Do you suffer from chronic dehydration? Are you looking to improve your athletic performance and you need to get over and see our friends over at GoFlow IV? They're located on Jefferson Highway. Easy to find them online at GEAUXFlowIV.com. Make sure and use the promo code Jordy Culotta Show. If you do, they'll take 15% off of your initial visit. Check them out online, GEAUXFlowIV.com.
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs know your desired delivery date, and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
Hey, Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez...
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life. But in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Keyshawn Buddha, Malik Neighbors, Miles Frazier,
Kyron Lacy,
Greg Brooks.
Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team.
Make a difference.
Bet. Let's get it done.
Best athlete to come out of New Iberia, Mark Roman?
Keyshawn Buddha.
Keyshawn? Wow.
Right now, Keyshawn, Mark was a little bit before me. I was a ball boy. When Mark was playing at New Iberia Senior High School, I played like right after Mark. But Keyshawn has done some things, and just the things that you guys are seeing Keyshawn do, that he's not even scratching the surface of what we saw on a day-to-day basis at practice. He's unreal. He's unreal.
He's so natural. It's so so easy. It looks so easy to him.
Yes, it's so easy, and there's never been another a competitor I've ever seen like Keyshawn. Keyshawn would not lose going to eat pregame meal. He has to be the first. He is the ultimate competitor. He would not lose. So trust me, he will be ready.
That they can score points in a blink, and you look up and you're in a situation where you were last Saturday night, where you're down 17-0, and your offense is showing no signs of life. No signs of being able to make plays and extending the field with, their wide receivers and changing the scoreboard. I think that they may go to Nussmeier on Saturday. And I'm not saying that, Saturday, if Daniels shows that he is still too uneasy of letting the ball go and throwing the ball down the field, and LSU gets into a situation where Tennessee may jump out early because they have the type of offense that, they can score points in a blink. And, you look up and you're in a situation where you were last Saturday night, where you're down 17-0 and your offense is showing no signs of life, no signs of being able to make plays and extending the field with, their wide receivers and changing the scoreboard. I think that they may go to
Hey, Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
We've seen the BK takeover stuff from LSU and social media, and really in his short time in Baton Rouge, there's been a lot of people embracing his approach to building this roster. What's it like to recruit alongside him?
Oh, it's been great. Coach has been awesome to me because he lets me be myself when it comes to recruiting, when it comes to coaching. He lets his coaches coach, he lets his coaches recruit. So I have no complaints on that end. And when I need him to get in touch with a kid, he's there for me. The communication line has been great. He's just been nothing but supportive.
But this opportunity was different. You have a chance to come to a place with unbelievable tradition, work for the winningest head coach in college football. Just be at a state. I've never been at a state where football's king, and if you just dominate your state, you're going to get some of the best players that there are.
Sure.
Yeah, so I think, getting through spring, I mean, most of it was obviously just installing the offense. And I think all 4 guys really made some strides in terms of that and showed a lot of positives. Obviously, which, you guys get to talk about all the time, so you guys,
Sure.
But all 4 have done a great job. They did. I think they really did a really nice job in spring of taking strides forward individually, and everybody's different in terms of what they need to get better at and what they need to show. And then move it into summer, and I love the way they're working right now in the weight room for Coach Flint. But like I said, I think spring a lot was everything was new for everybody. So especially at the beginning, there wasn't as much evaluation, say the first few days, get into the flow, and then I think we got some good opportunities for some guys to get some reps, and I think everybody showed some positives.
Hey, Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
Southern Eye Centers, located at 6859 Jefferson Highway right here in Baton Rouge, has been serving your eyes for over 40 years in the capital region. They offer friendly service in a helpful environment with the highest level of personal care to manage your eye health and vision needs. If you want more information, log online to southerneyecenters.com. That is southerneyecenters.com. Stop in and check out their beautiful office located on Jefferson Highway right here in the capital city. And remember, each time you walk in there and you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, Dr. Ann Shaw and Southern Eye Centers will take 25% off of their fantastic selection of sunglasses. All you got to do is mention the Jordy Culotta Show. Check them out, southerneyecenters.com, and located at 6859 Jefferson Highway. Brett Favre. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Ghost Chevrolet. Brett Favre's made a statement finally, according to documents obtained by Fox News. According to documents, Favre is caught up in this grant scandal that was money aimed at helping the welfare fund throughout Mississippi Community Education Center, and also an organization called TANF, which was Temporary Assistance for Needy Families. The state of Mississippi is currently suing 38 people or companies in an attempt to get back up to $77 million in federal money that was misspent. Brett Favre's name has come up and tied to $5 million of it. This has been going on now for quite some time, and Favre has finally come out and made a statement. I'm quoting. I have been unjustly smeared in the media. I have done nothing wrong, and it is past time to set the record straight. Favre goes on to say, no one ever told me, and I did not know, that funds designated for welfare recipients were going to the university or me. I tried to help my alma mater, USM, a public Mississippi State University, raise funds for a wellness center. My goal was and always will be to improve the athletic facilities at my university. State agencies provided the funds to Nancy's new charity, the Mississippi Community Education Center, which then gave the funds to the university, all with full knowledge and approval of the other state agencies, including the statewide Institute for Higher Learning, the governor's office, and attorney's general office. Favre's taking everybody down with him here, brother.
He said,
I'm going down.
You going down.
Everybody up top is going down, including the governor. I was told that the legal work to ensure that these funds could be accepted by the university was done by state attorneys and state employees.
No one ever told me, and I did not know.
Yeah, this is the opening line.
You're
in trouble.
Does he not know that we saw the text where he asked if you can see this? And she was like, yeah. Everybody can.
They saw it.
They saw it. And he's just going to pretend like that didn't happen. It's a bold strategy.
Hey,
it is.
It's Brett, one more time, I'm just spinning around and throwing fists, and whoever gets hit's coming down with me. But I also didn't do it.
He is known for sending dick pics. So he's probably like, let's send the dick pic, but I saw you in person. Didn't mention anything about it.
Yeah.
You know, like, girl's trying to talk about it. He's like, how have you been? You know? Like,
there's no normal conversation with Brett. But, I mean, is he going to get in trouble?
Yes.
Is this all he needs?
No, I think he's going to get in trouble. I really do. I mean, I think, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty evident that he was doing some grimy stuff. And I don't know if he'll serve time. I don't know if he'll go behind bars, but he's going to be caught up in a mess here that potentially is going to cost him a lot more than the $5 million that he was looking to secure from.
He was trying to say the volleyball court was going to benefit the needy in Hattiesburg.
Yeah.
So fast forward, that's not what the volleyball court's being used to do. Shocker to everyone that they're not using it for the needy. So that's how he was able to get by using these funds, was saying, we'll probably do some benefits for the needy in here.
Like if you listen to ESPN Daily does a great job. Pablo Torre does the daily podcast where, look, some days the topics are boring and you don't want to listen and you just don't listen that day. But other topics, other days are pretty cool where he dives in. And this Favre topic has been something that they've jumped on and really kind of gone into. So it's been interesting to learn from a lot of the players to hear, like from the state auditor to the, to the journalist that was really kind of like starting to dig, that really kind of opened and broke this case wide open, to just, the facts of the case. And it's very clear. I mean, it's very, very clear.
The paper trail is there.
That Brett Favre had a clear understanding of where this money was coming from and who it was coming from and who it was taking out of the pockets of. So it'll be interesting to see how this thing plays out, because I think there's a legal paper trail that a lot of people are confident that, really kind of shows his involvement. All right, we're going to talk to Brody Miller. We're going to pick up the conversation. LSU, where are they? And get the kind of state of the union going into this Florida game from one of the best, Brody Miller, who covers it for The Athletic. Coming up next year on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Do you suffer from chronic dehydration? Are you looking to improve your athletic performance? And you need to get over and see our friends over at GoFlow IV. They're located on Jefferson Highway. Easy to find them online at GEAUXFlowIV.com. Make sure and use the promo code Jordy Culotta Show. If you do, they'll take 15% off of your initial visit. Check them out online, GEAUXFlowIV.com.
I was excited to come to a top level program. I've been at a lot of great places, been very fortunate in my career, but to really say that you have an opportunity every year, once we get it rolling, to win a national championship, there's not very many places that you can say that. So for him to offer me the opportunity to come with him to LSU was nothing but humility and gratitude. Some Sunday players in that room. But again, it's got to be the total package, the total process of buy-in, of understanding what we're trying to get done, of figuring out how we want it to get done, but also allowing those guys to be able to play with instincts.
Hello, friends.
For example, I think Jay Ward is long and athletic. He's very versatile. He's played corner, played nickel, played safety. Very excited about Joe Fouché, one of the transfer guys that we came in because he has a dimension of physicality. Major Burns. Fortunate enough that he was able to come back home. Again, he's long, he's athletic, so he gives you flexibility between both field and boundary safeties. And then you've got some guys that you can throw in like Brooks, Sage, Derek Davis. Todd Harris is a guy that's been around for a while. So I think that we have enough in that room to be successful. But again, you still want to continue to grow and be able to push each point.
Yeah, well, I think it starts here, and we have a good bit of people on this particular staff who are from Louisiana, who know and believe in our hearts that this place produces the best football players in the country, and I think the numbers speak for themselves. Per capita, produce the most NFL players, you know what I mean? So even from an analytical standpoint, it makes sense to take the kids from here because the chances of them playing in the league are higher than if they come from anywhere else. Yeah. I think our brand is super powerful, so we will have to recruit at a national level, or there's really no reason that we shouldn't, you know what I mean? Because if we can get a top player from another state who can help us win a championship, then of course, right? But I think it starts right here in Louisiana and then right here in Baton Rouge. There's some really good players who are still available that are right here in Baton Rouge.
All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Every Wednesday, we catch up with Brody Miller, who covers the program for The Athletic. Also a great podcast himself over at The Athletic. You can check on anywhere that you get your podcast. I listen to it over at Spotify, on Spotify. And he's here every Wednesday with us. Brody, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me as always, man.
Yeah, man. It's good to talk to you. Another players-only meeting. You hear that, you think what?
I think my honest answer is the way we react to players-only meetings are just probably a little, dramatic / inaccurate. Just I don't know about how you react. I don't mean you. But, they're just a quick meeting, and it's this thing. And to be clear, when I first started covering LSU, when I'd hear that, I'd be like, man, players-only meeting, get to the bottom of it. And it's every team has a players-only meeting at some point or two in the year. It's just a meeting to be hey, guys, get it together. Sure, maybe the 2018 Burrow, that one was there's some real tensions on that team. That one's real. I feel this one's more just I wouldn't worry too much about it. But yeah, I mean, it's a good thing that you have leaders being hey, special teams is a problem. These little things and all these mistakes are a problem. That's if you're looking for a positive in it, that's the main thing Kelly's been trying to implement is a leadership structure where the leaders then can take it down to the team. So yeah, I mean, it just kind of is what it is, but I don't think a players-only meeting is ever going to fix a problem necessarily.
They lost the left side of their offensive line last week. Friday night with Will Campbell, on Saturday with Garrett Dellinger. Where do they go this week?
Yeah, I thought Kelly's answer was really interesting and kind of just openly saying, I think it's going to be this tough give and take of, okay, is the Anthony Bradford might be at this very moment your best option at left tackle, but is the gain of him at left tackle versus the next guy better than the drop off from Bradford at guard to I don't know, Xavier Hill or whoever? That's the question you have to have, because Cam Wire's experience, sure, but Cam Wire has a lot of tape of him just really struggling. He's a fifth-year guy, and I think there comes a point where you have to be honest. He hasn't been very effective. Marcus Dumerville, it's hard for me to sit here and judge if he's ready, because he's always kind of one of the next guys up in reps, but I've never seen him play real meaningful snaps, and I'd be lying to you if I knew. So, if you're asking me, I'd say probably the smartest move is Bradford at left tackle and probably Xavier Hill at guard. I think that makes the most sense to me, but I'm also not there in practice, and I don't know if they trust anyone else at tackle, quite frankly.
Yeah. Free Cardell Thomas.
Cardell Thomas.
If I had to do a power rankings of mailbag questions I've gotten the most over the years that I just I can't keep answering it, guys. It just is what it is.
Special teams. It seemed like that was top of the agenda on the latest players only meeting. What do you think could be worked out here? Is there any change that could be made that could instantly turn this thing or start to turn it in the right direction?
It's such a good question, and I'll ask if you have a great answer too, because special teams is such an area where, I think to some extent it might be not the right personnel guys on the field. But then Kelly gave this really strong answer of that guy's the best guy. These guys are the best guys, and I will defer to a head coach to some extent on that. But the issues are everywhere. It's every single field goal, extra point, punt return, punt, kickoff return. It's every single thing. That there's clearly, it's not I doubt it's some special team scheme thing, right? Maybe it is. I'm not smart enough to know. It's just there's something bizarre going on. That there is a disconnect where I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if it's players, but it's hard to pinpoint literally what's wrong. So I have a hard time even figuring out what's right. I'm curious what you think.
Yeah, no, I think I agree. I mean, when I look at it, sometimes I think scheme, when I look at the punt team, it looks like, they're all kind of jumbled up together. It doesn't look like they stay in lanes. But then once they do get past the first level, it's missed tackles on what looks like, kind of athleticism and talent. And it's, I think that those could be fixed. And that's what I was hoping that would come away from a special or a players only meeting that was featuring the special teams, was be guys in that room that would just kind of raise their hand and say, hey, look, I want to play. I would like to be on the punt team, the kickoff team, whatever team that they could specifically help on.
And this is a half-baked theory that I think is probably wrong, but I'm interested by it. We talk so much about hey, this team has depth issues, all that. And I know starters kind of play some special teams, but in reality, special teams is where your depth is shown, right? That's really where you're seeing that next guy who's going to play corner next year and all that. And I don't know if this is right, but I sometimes find myself wondering, is that where you're seeing the depth hole and all that, the roster mismanagement we're talking about of maybe they're just depth on special teams isn't where you want it, and it's showing there.
Yeah. Speaking back to the offensive line, Will Campbell, that sounds like that was a very scary episode on Friday night for not only him, his family, but his teammates and everybody around him. Have you been able to get any information on Campbell and what the future looks like for him?
Yeah, I was told that he did, as Kelly suggested, but I was told that he did end up coming home from the hospital Monday, and everything is going well for him. All the tests have come back positive. Everything is promising, for lack of a better term. The part that I haven't necessarily gotten a good sense of is when he might be able to return to the field and things like that. That's a little less clear to me, and if anyone else has info on that, I'm all ears. But yeah, no, his recovery is going well, and he is back from the hospital.
Also, a storyline that was on Monday. I mean, Brody, by the way, bro, incredible form with the microphone at Kelly's press conference, sneaking in, which was about a 12-second window, 3 just huge headline topic questions of Campbell, Dellinger, Perkins. I mean, I almost left. I looked at Katie. I was like, we can wrap it up.
That's all I needed to hear.
Yeah.
It's as well as I, the number one rule is you're taught, don't ask multiple questions in one. Yes. But it was just good. But it was we had Dellinger. I think we've also set a little precedent of you can ask the really quick injury question.
Yep.
Just to be hey, update and then ask your question. I don't think I've ever done 3 in 1, but I talk obscenely fast already. So was a nice, sufficient moment.
Hey,
and my PER is off the charts.
Even an attaboy from the head coach as he kind of stepped away from the podium and gave you a head nod and a wink, almost like a gun and a wink.
Half mocking, but yeah.
That's right. But the Perkins.
Midwestern charm.
The Perkins answer, I thought, I gave reaction to it yesterday, and a lot of people that I saw and read the feedback thought that I melted and overblew what he said. But I thought that was an alarming. I really did, that Harold Perkins could be schemed off the field because of just how talented he is. What did you make of how he answered your presentation of Harold Perkins?
Yeah, I think I definitely understand where you're coming from on that. I don't think by any means I'd sit here and say you're wrong and you don't want your best players on the field. I think the only thing I'd say back is just kind of not arguing. But, like,
yeah,
he's talked from the jump of kind of like when you're a freshman, like it's a lot of, hey, you're putting him in this outside role and being like, you do these two things really well, go do them. And it's like, little bits of the playbook, things like that. That's a big part of easing a freshman in. And I think, it's one thing to have him thriving in that role, but to then be like, hey, now I need you to jump back another position, all that. I think that's a fair line of thought process. I might disagree with it, and you might as well. I don't know if it was the right call, but I totally understand that. And at the end of the day, as much as I'm with you want Perkins on the field. I don't think LSU lost this game because Harold Perkins wasn't on the field. I don't even think they lost this game because the defense actually hung in there. They lost this game because they fell down 13-0 within seconds on special teams errors, and the offense just had no ability to put itself even in the game.
What do you make of the offensive struggles last weekend?
Yeah, I think you do. It's unfair to not start with, you lost half your offensive line pretty quickly. You do have to at least start with that. That took a lot. This O-line's actually played pretty, I'd say, above average this year, and then that took a huge hit. It's hard to ignore that. And then the other part of it, I think, just talking to a lot of people on the staff, I think there were a lot of things that we don't know of, missed assignments, missed blocks, missed wrong routes, stuff like that we don't see that I think adds up a lot more than we realize. But then, I think there are issues. There's some stuff with the scheme where you're just hey, they're not setting these guys up to succeed. There's nothing, the way we talk about Jimbo's offense, and I'm not comparing it, but where everything feels strained. Nothing's just easy chunk yards that there's nothing smooth, right, that you see in modern football. LSU right now feels like it's there where it has this kind of pro-style offense with a quarterback that maybe doesn't exactly suit it, and just none of it's quite a great marriage where, these playmakers aren't set up to necessarily have those easy yards. I think Kelly's right that they were set up to have to pass really early, and this O-line wasn't set up to do that. But still, man, I think everyone takes blame here. Jane Daniels included, by the way. Jane Daniels' numbers look good, but he missed a lot of opportunities and limited them too.
We also heard Brian Kelly talk about Walker Howard, and you could see both in his body language and in the way that he presented his answer that they're really excited about Howard and what the future may hold. How do you expect him to develop? How do you expect his timeline maybe to develop? Is what I'm wondering.
Yeah, I think that's a really good sign that they are so pleased with him. And I think, there clearly was a corner turned right around fall camp where it was all right, this guy's a really good player. He's healthy, all that. I think I still stand by you probably want him to redshirt this year. I know I say that because I think there's so many fans, and I don't know where you stand of just you got to get the 5-star in the field. My colleague, Ari Wasserman, is the biggest believer of if you have a 5-star quarterback, you just have to play him, get him those reps, worry about the future. But I think there's always one, I don't know if it's ever that simple, but also you can mess with a young player. You can affect their longevity. You don't want him getting crushed or anything like that. You want him by the time he's on that field fully ready for it. And also, guys, this year is what it is. It's not going to be a bad year. It's not going to be a year where you're chasing huge goals. Not that I expect Walker Howard here 5 years, but why burn that red shirt? You can still play him 4 games. He can get some time. So I think he's progressing perfectly. And he's in a situation that next year, if he's progressing as they think, he probably wins that starting job now. I was pumping the brakes on that 6 months ago of I think Nuss wins that job next year. But Walker Howard's really good, and he might really go out and win that job next year. That's perfect, but don't rush it.
I thought Hannegriff had a very common sense tweet that he put out about the season and where expectations were.
Yes.
He usually does, very balanced and neutral in his delivery of a very commonsensical
Franklin guy.
tactic. It was spot on. Speaking of spot on, I was listening to Football and Grits this morning with you in Staples, and a lot of conversation about Alabama and Tennessee. This game has some relevance for the first time in what feels like forever. But the third Saturday in October means something. What do you expect this Saturday in Knoxville?
Man, I really can't wait, as you could probably tell by that podcast. I just think it's probably one of the best, just like, there's been a lot of great football games this year. It's one of the juiciest, just like, I want to see this go against this kind of matchups. And it's like, I think deep down, I probably think Tennessee gives them a really, really good shot, plays it really tough. But at the end of the day, I think Alabama probably handles it by, 7 points, 10 points. I think that's fair and realistic. But I'm not confident because the one thing you can attack on Tennessee, in theory, is explosiveness in the passing game. You can probably get some big chunks. And Alabama's offense / their receivers, I think it's scheme and the receivers, haven't really been able to take advantage of poor pass defenses. They're not getting that separation you normally see from great Alabama offenses. So they're not dominating an explosive passing game. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is a competitive game and Hendon Hooker might be the best offensive player on the field in this game. And him against Alabama's pass rush is going to be such a good chess match that I just can't wait to watch it because he is so good at handling pressure and all those things. So I think Hendon Hooker has a great game and makes it close, but default brain says Bama figures it out.
What are we terming Florida and LSU now with Kelly and Napier as the head? Is this the Woodward Bowl? I mean, how do we watch this? How do you measure this? Is this a game that will be every season that will kind of go back to this hiring process?
Yeah, the battle of the Scots, right? Strickland and Woodward. Maybe that works. It's like, I wonder if this year this year will be obviously juicy because it's year one of it. But I almost wonder, you know as well as I, this battle is really going to be about where these two programs are at. I don't know, year 3, year 4. But I'm so wrapped up in this because it is this fascinating discussion of these are two very parallel coaches and kind of who they are, guys who learned how to be head coaches, learn process guys, program builders who learned how to win and then went to a bigger job. And it's like, you could argue, Napier is Kelly, 15 years ago. And I love that discussion of, would you rather, and LSU just had to deal with this, would you rather hire the guy who's hungry, chasing, and might be the next Saban Kelly type, but there's also a 20-30% variability that he just isn't and he doesn't work? Or do you hire a Kelly, and I know it's not 1-to-1, but hire a Kelly who is, what he is. He's a top 4 coach in college football, top 3 coach, but I don't know if he's quite as hungry. I don't know if, the growth is there, all that. It's a fascinating debate that I don't know the right answer, but we know Scott Woodward's answer was he wanted the guy who I know is an elite head coach. And I don't think there's a right or wrong here. That's why it makes it such a fun discussion.
What do you expect from LSU in this turnaround, in this traveling to the swamp here, first time with Brian Kelly? How do you expect this one to go?
I honestly really like this game for LSU in just a ton of ways. Florida's run defense has just been god-awful, quite frankly, this year. And, I wonder, LSU's run game is inconsistent, I think I'd say, and I really want to see, who's healthy on the O-line and all that. But if they can run the ball, that helps LSU big time. I like the idea of them defending Anthony Richardson. I think Matt House has proven when he has to come up with a game plan, he usually will hone that in pretty well. I really like LSU in this game. I think that, I don't know about score or anything like that, but I think they win this one. I do.
Brody, thank you for your time this morning as always. We'll see you next Wednesday, and keep up the great work.
Thanks as always, guys. Take care.
All right, there he is, Brody Miller, checking in from The Athletic. At Brody A. Miller on Twitter is where you find him there on social media. Find him there. The Carpool Queen has walked in. She will join us on set. We'll reconfigure the set. Remember, daily, we're brought to you by RMB Builders. Get in touch with our construction crew, Rhett Bourgeois and his crew over at RMB Builders. Hit them on Instagram. The Instagram is on fire right now. All the social media, if you want to see some of the neighborhoods that they're working in, some of the capabilities that they have. Start to finish, they can build your dream home. They can also help you out with some reconstruction if you're looking for that. They got a lot of projects going on right now, but they are not too busy for you. Get in touch with them today. rmb-builders.com, rmb-builders.com. Follow them on Instagram. The Carpool Queen is here. We'll welcome her to the set next. The Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression and anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Their weekly pre-order, freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Do you suffer from chronic dehydration? Are you looking to improve your athletic performance and you need to get over and see our friends over at GoFlow IV? They're located on Jefferson Highway. Easy to find them online at GEAUXFlowIV.com. Make sure and use the promo code Jordy Culotta Show. If you do, they'll take 15% off of your initial visit. Check them out online, GEAUXFlowIV.com.
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs know your desired delivery date, and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go Mart and On The Go Deli. GoMart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by GoMart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at GoMart.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at JordyCulottaShow.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Appreciate our friend Brody Miller for stopping by. The Carpool Queen is here. She navigated through traffic. Good to see you, Carpool Queen.
Bad today.
Bad traffic today.
Okay.
Everybody's getting
Bad
tailgating
traffic.
for the St. Aloysius Our Lady of Mercy showdown now tonight. 7 o'clock. Get your parking passes and your tickets. The last time they played it, Jacques brought a crew out there.
Where y'all playing?
From WAFB 9 at Olympia tonight.
Oh,
7
well,
o'clock
everybody's
kickoff.
out there then.
Yes.
Michael Caldwell was out there too. It was the most covered youth football game ever.
It was. Sign of the times, COVID.
That's right. That's right.
Some
That's
content.
2020.
All right, get out, get some content. JD, 25 years ago yesterday, LSU took down Florida, the number 1 team in the country. Steve Spurrier came in here with that high-flying attack. What do you remember most about that night?
I was there. I remember my dad. We had season tickets, and he said, "We're going to get killed. You take them. You go." And I remember early on, Herb Tyler, option play.
That's right. Kind of like a roll option, kind of like he rolled out, and like nobody touched him.
Nobody touched him. It was like find 66. That was Alan Faneca's number, right? Run behind 66.
Wow.
And so Herb had 2 touchdown runs. I remember LSU had an opportunity early in the game, and Rondale Mealy fumbled, and the ball laid on the ground for like 5 minutes, and then Florida got it. But and I remember those were the days where you rushed home and ESPN would replay the game.
At like 2 o'clock in the morning, yeah.
And so I think I probably stayed up to 4 in the morning
no doubt about it.
watching the game.
That's right.
And this explains why I'm so screwed up and still don't have a ring on my finger. I remember going with a very good-looking girl who was not a football fan and saying, "You didn't talk to me the whole fourth quarter." And I'm like, "You don't understand what you just watched, you know?"
We're on the field.
LSU's trying to win. You want me to talk to you?
About what?
And so I remember having a bag of grass with the 2 ticket stubs, and I had it on my wall. And my dad came in one day and said, "What is that?" Like looking at the grass, like, "Dad, I'm the biggest square in the world. I don't smoke weed, you know." So
It's that Tiger Stadium shit, Dad.
It's that Death Valley pack right here.
But no, it was Kevin Falk on the front cover of Sports Illustrated, and Kevin Falk says to this day, you know, it's like baseball cards, I guess, famous baseball cards that somehow people find this Sports Illustrated and find him and get him to autograph it all these years later. Wow. I guess, I mean, they only printed a certain amount of them, but LSU fans have tracked them down over the years. But yeah, it was so great because you didn't expect it. They were a 14-point underdog, and I interviewed Danny Werfel yesterday. I had a chat with him, and this was the year after he left, and just in the 90s, you were petrified of playing Florida. You knew they were going to whip you. You knew their head coach was going to run up the score. He was the ultimate kind of villain at the time, that smirk, that visor, and there was nothing you could do about it,
Right,
and finally LSU got their day. Only time they beat me, Jordy. I'm 11-1. They beat me that one time. But that was the one time they got him because I was in Tiger Stadium when they got beat 58-3. I remember that.
Me too.
I remember the late Adrian Karsten did a stand-up. I'd say a stand-up. He was sitting in the south end zone. Yeah. And look, there was nobody around him. The whole south upper was basically empty. And he goes, well, this used to be the most feared place in college football, and now look at it. It's like it's a cemetery, Wow. So, one of my favorite games of all time.
Ron Franklin, Adrian Karsten, and who was the color?
Gottfried.
Mike Gottfried.
Mike Gottfried. To this day, the play-by-play guy.
Ron Franklin.
When his voice hit the air,
no doubt about it. It felt like a big game.
You got you were nervous about the game already, and then when he started,
welcome, oh shit, we're here.
It's happening.
When he started talking, it was like, oh man, this is a big game. His voice brought so much drama. He had his has 5, has 10. That was like his one of his trademarks.
Tommy Banks.
So Herb Tyler's finest hour to be sure, and defensive back.
Cedric Donaldson. The pick
6 late in the game, held the ball up as he
got
scored.
The flag today.
Yeah.
Who was the quarterback? Was
Doug Johnson.
Was it Doug Johnson?
Doug Johnson.
Because he had, I think Jesse Palmer was he not on that team yet?
I think there was I think he might have been the backup. Yeah. Fred Taylor was definitely the running back.
Fred Taylor, a young Javon Curse.
Was
a freshman on that team.
And talking to Werfel yesterday, he said, those teams are always thought to be offensive teams and everything, but our defense was
they were
rough.
Nasty.
And didn't Cecil Collins get hurt the week before? Is that right? Didn't he break his
97?
You're right. Good call, Lloyd. At Vanderbilt.
7-6.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that was another thing. Going into that game, LSU had barely beaten Vanderbilt the week before. They blocked an extra point, 7-6.
And
Cecil Collins broke his leg.
Looking ahead.
Vanderbilt good then?
No, it's still the same Vanderbilt that you play in 2022. Yeah, they're terrible.
Tiger Vision game, I remember.
That was that was epic LSU.
Yeah.
Where they would beat Florida. In fact, the next week they lost to Ole Miss.
Right.
Yeah, JP game, 11:30 in the morning. Tommy Tuberville, head coach of Ole Miss.
Yep.
The running back.
Was it Deuce?
Avery.
John Avery.
John Avery
was a first-round pick of the Miami Dolphins.
Ran all over him.
Yeah,
that day.
He did.
And look. Jerry DiNardo, that Monday after they beat Florida, he came to the press conference with a long list, and he read them all out loud of the big wins in LSU history and how they lost the next week. I think like when LSU beat Florida State in 1982.
Throwing the Oranges?
The Oranges. They lost to Tulane the next week. I mean, there was a series of them doing that. And he did his very best to make sure it wasn't going to happen again. And I interviewed him a while back, and he said, I still should have handled it differently or whatnot. Maybe they didn't celebrate it enough, honestly. Like the next day it was, back to work. So
what was the score of this game? The final score?
21-14?
28-21.
28-21.
It was 28-14. They got a touchdown. One thing about that game, Wade Ritchie missed like 3 field goals in the game. That is totally forgotten because they won. But had they lost, it would have been like, man,
Wade
you cost
skates.
us 9 points.
Yeah, good for him.
Wow.
Or
Probably
whatever.
the happiest guy in the room.
Wade
Afterwards.
Ritchie.
Yeah, nobody's going to talk about me.
The Chinese Bandits, they did Chinese
They
Bandits
did the
defense.
Bandits that night. They brought in a different style of attack where they brought like all of the heavy guys off the field. They brought all the speed on the field. They were just like flying around out there.
Harold Perkins play?
He would have played a lot that night. Jacques, when you hear players only meeting again, what do you hear?
So last week it was just the quarterback and the wide receivers. This week we got the whole family together.
Yeah,
Is that what
everybody.
It's special teams.
Husband and
together.
wife got together first, and then
the kids
in.
Then they kicked the parents out.
Yeah.
Did Antonio Brown tweet something about that? Just last week, just in summary of the game, when you're at home, like the game we just talked about, although it being a bad kickoff time and everything, and you're the underdog, which LSU is a 3-point underdog, but as we saw, probably should have been more than that. You want to get your home crowd in the game and behind you. And LSU almost, you would swear, they tried to take their home crowd out of the game as quickly as possible. They accept the opening kickoff, bad break. Jacques doesn't catch it, and instead of it bouncing out of bounds, the Tennessee guy cradles it right there on the sideline and gets the ball. And then you give up a 60-yard punt return. And so basically you put Tennessee on your 25-yard line twice to start the game. You're down 10-0 before some people have even sat down.
No doubt. Before me.
Yeah.
I was
so you've taken your crowd out of it.
It's cooked.
Yeah. And then you know, if Kayshawn gets 5 yards instead of 4 on the 4th and 4, we're not talking about this. But, you know, I listened to you yesterday, and I had to agree. Look, let's get some points on the board. Let's kick off and play defense and put them down there for a change. And let's play that way.
Reset. Kind of restart the game a little bit. 10-3.
Just kind of
feels like
overthought
you're
it.
still in it.
You know what I mean? Like, it happens, but, I mean, he overthought it. You know what I mean? I just...
And I don't know if that's Tennessee doing a good job of taking you out of your own head where we're desperate. We gotta do stuff. And, you know, the last 4th down call right before the half was just brutal because, what was it, 4th and 10? 4th and long, right?
4th and 10.
You're in an obvious passing situation. Your O-line is struggling. You've got no running game to speak of. And, you know, they hit one pass across the middle, kick a field goal, and it's a gut punch before the half. You're down 23-7. And they get the ball to start the second half.
I think you got to kick off because you elected to receive.
I mean, really, they were lucky that the running back tripped over the yard marker.
Yeah.
I mean, or they get 7.
When somebody said, LSU got no breaks, I said, well, they got 2. That guy fell down on his own.
Yeah, I mean, that guy just...
And then they dunked the field goal off the upright.
It looked like he got sniped in the middle of the field. I mean, he was just running by himself. How do you view this Napier Kelly matchup now with Napier at Florida and Kelly at LSU, and knowing some were pushing for Napier, but come to find out he wasn't even interviewed?
Yeah, I'm going to do a feature on it this week. I've interviewed a lot of different people about it. I remember Matt Malk, last year saying he thought Napier was the guy. I think we need to go get him and whatever. I think there's a lot. As somebody who grew up in Lafayette and has now worked in Baton Rouge, I think I've got a pretty good grasp of this Raging Cajun LSU Tiger dynamic. The LSU fans who turn their nose up, and then the UL or say, quit gnawing at us, little brother, and then the UL Lafayette fans or UL, whatever. I call them Raging Cajuns as much as possible.
Just keep it political.
Raging Cajun.
Bro. Yeah, right.
You think you invented the game. You think you're holier than thou. And so that was all kind of wrapped up in this. The fact that, we're not hiring the head coach of the Raging Cajuns unless it's Yvette Girard to coach softball.
Right.
But so, yeah, I mean, a lot of people thought, look, this guy's a rising star. He did stuff there that may never be done again, quite honestly. I know they lost a lot of players off of last year's team. I think they play tonight. If they lose, they're on a 4-game losing streak, the Cajuns.
Yeah. Oof.
And so he was 40-12 there. So
coaching matters.
Jeez, yeah.
So LSU went with the more.
Don't overthink it.
Yeah. And so the people say, look, if you would look at Scott Woolward's resume, he was never going to hire a coach from a Sun Belt conference. Kim Mulkey, Jay Johnson, Brian Kelly, these are all heavy hitters. And so, yeah, it's going to be a big dynamic in the game. In today's society and Twitter and on all that, whoever wins the game, the fan base is going to be chirping, we got the better coach. But really, in actuality, it's going to be 3 or 4 years down the road before you can say, okay, we made a good hire. We didn't make a good hire. But that's not going to stop. Like I said, we're all about in the moment. And so it's going to be talked about a lot, there's no doubt, because the two teams aren't that good, to be honest with you. Neither's ranked, and so both were picked, 6-7 wins this year by Vegas. Mm-hmm. So it reminds me a little bit of when LSU went over there in 2017 after they lost to Troy. It was like, oh, we got to go to the Swamp, but okay, they're not that great, So it could be one of those games. I think, what was that game, 17-16? Yeah, it was. Florida missed an extra point.
Yeah, it's brutal. Oh, God. It was like a first-round pick. Yeah, missed that extra point. Panero.
Yeah, really? He's still kicking in the league.
I mean, hell yeah, he is. I mean, I think that was the only extra point he missed.
No, I was just 17-16. As you know exactly what that game looked like.
That's the day that Christian Lacature, I think, played every snap.
Every snap.
Coach O had tears in his eyes at the end when they were doing the.
That's right.
They never sang the alma mater. They always stood there, but. That was a week after the Troy debacle when it was so nasty around here, and they found a way to beat Florida.
Oliva was watching film with them.
Oh, he went to go watch film.
Remember they were all watching film together after the Troy game when he pulled Matt Canada, and remember Dave Aranda was sitting in there. He was like, "I gotta go." I'm leaving.
My defense gave up 17 points last week. See y'all.
What do you do to fix the special teams?
Well, we're 6 games in. I mean, it seems like there's something different every week. The first week it was the extra point and the short field goal and the punt returning. I don't know if Jack Besh is a kick returner. I'd put him at punt return because you want a guy to catch the ball. He missed that punt. But maybe you want somebody with a little more speed back there and put Besh at punts. That's just thinking out loud. I mean, I'm sure he can do both well. No Jack in the family and want to see him get the ball more. They haven't kicked field goals in a while, had they? Ramos hasn't really kicked a field goal that's been, okay, we need this one. So that's still kind of, I don't want to say it's unknown, but we haven't really done anything there. I think Bramblett's been a pretty good punter, hasn't he?
Yeah.
For the most part.
I think for sure. I mean, I think he's been one of the bright spots.
Yeah.
You know, I mean.
Absolutely. Yeah. But he certainly got to marinate in the role, that's for sure. He got to use him a good bit so far. So I'd imagine if anybody's learning on the job, it's okay for him to do it because he's getting his opportunities.
I mean, but he's done a good job of punting and covering.
Now, Monday, Kelly said something like, well, maybe we need a shorter punt with higher hang time because we outkicked the coverage on the punt return. So I don't know. I mean, it just and I don't want to just pile on Brian Polian because he's the special teams coach. Is it his fault that a kid drops a ball or not? I mean, he's the coach. He coaches that stuff. But so they did. Jordy, the biggest thing is that I think if LSU actually goes up in a game 7-0 or 10-0, we might all have a heart attack, you know, because every game they've played against comparable competition, it's the same thing. They sleepwalk and it's 13-0, it's 14-0. I mean, they just refuse to take a lead in any game against comparable competition. So maybe they do it this week. I don't know.
You asked the question to Brian Kelly about Walker Howard. What do you expect? I asked this to Brody. What do you expect the timeline of his development to look like?
He's played in one game?
Yeah.
So I don't know, by the UAB game, do they look at that as, okay, here's an opportunity to maybe play him half the game or something like that? I don't know. But, I just asked the question just because there's been a lot of Walker Howard talk and stuff, and so it's definitely wasn't a question as I preferenced by, okay, he needs to play right now. But I just want to know, since the spring till now, how much has he improved? How much has he learned? And look, you want to coach every guy on his individual merit, but if you've got a quarterback whose dad went through what he went through,
I agree,
at LSU in 1994,
I agree.
And look, Jamie Howard and Walker, I'm sure they talked about that a million times. I know they did before he came here. Do you sure you want to go there? Do you know what happened with me? Do you know the dynamic of the whole thing? So I think they're ready for it. And so, he's a 5-star for a reason, got a huge arm. And is he the future? I guess he is, out of the 3 on the roster right now. If Jaden goes pro or does whatever he does after this year, and Nuss, they obviously don't feel even 37-7, they don't put Nuss in the game.
Yeah.
So
right.
And then I don't see Ricky Collins coming in and beating out Walker Howard. I mean, he could. I don't know. But it seems like Walker Howard right now he's the first round rookie on the team that they're mentoring under an older guy to get ready to start.
Yeah.
If you put a gun to my head, that's what I'd say.
Red, Rock, and Blue. What's coming up? You got an event coming up a week from Saturday, right?
2 weeks.
2 weeks from Saturday.
October 29th. If you're looking for something to do, the LSU bye week, we have, instead of the celebrity softball game we used to do, we're doing a golf tournament now, and so we got all these great guys. There's a list at redrockandblue.com. Paul Maneri, Mikey Montook, Todd Walker, all these great people. Malachi Dupree, some people you haven't seen in a while. Wow. So you register your team of 3, and you get paired with the 4th. Say Jordy Culotta, for example, who's also going to tee it up.
Golf?
I'm going to try it.
All right.
You better have some language in that contract. That should be pretty firm.
So
I'm going to get a call. He's like, hey, can you go play in this golf tournament for me?
No, I'll be there.
So free food, free drinks.
Free Jordy.
What's that?
Free Jordy.
Free Jordy.
Yeah.
And it goes to our cause, which we give back to Louisiana military charities. We've had our best year ever as far as raising money. And so this is just tacking on to the end of it. Hopefully the weather's great. So redrockandblue.com, register your team today and come be a part.
Jacques Doucet every Wednesday right here with us on the Jordy Culotta Show and a part of our proud partners over at WAFB. We'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshawn Buddha, Malik Neighbors, Miles Frazier, Kyron Lacey, Greg Brooks.
Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team, make a difference. Bet. Let's get it done.
Best athlete to come out of New Iberia, Mark Roman?
Keyshawn Booty.
Keyshawn? Wow.
Right now, Keyshawn, and Mark was a little bit before me. I was a ball boy. When Mark was playing at New Iberia Senior High School, I played like right after Mark. But Keyshawn just has done some things, and just the things that you guys are seeing Keyshawn do, that he's not even scratching the surface of what we saw on a day-to-day basis at practice. And he's unreal. He's unreal.
He's so natural. It's so so easy. It looks so easy to him.
Yes, it's so easy, and there's never been another a competitor I've ever seen like Keyshawn. Keyshawn would not lose going to eat pregame meal. He has to be the first. He is the ultimate competitor. He would not lose. So trust me, he will be ready.
That they can score points in a blink, and you look up and you're in a situation where you were last Saturday night, where you're down 17-0, and your offense is showing no signs of life. No signs of being able to make plays and extending the field with, their wide receivers and changing the scoreboard. I think that they may go to Nussmeier on Saturday. And I'm not saying that, Saturday, if Daniels shows that he is still too uneasy of letting the ball go and throwing the ball down the field, and LSU gets into a situation where Tennessee may jump out early because they have the type of offense that, they can score points in a blink. And, you look up and you're in a situation where you were last Saturday night, where you're down 17-0 and your offense is showing no signs of life, no signs of being able to make plays and extending the field with, their wide receivers and changing the scoreboard. I think that they may go to Nussmeier. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression and anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Their weekly pre-order freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. All right, welcome into the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome back to the Jordy Culotta Show. Hit that like button, share button, comment button if you don't mind. Taking your voicemails here. As,
Ronnie.
Yeah, Ronnie Ray.
Ronnie B-roll.
B-roll, Ron.
229-7741, 225 area code, 229-7741.
Rove Camara.
Have a take, don't suck.
Look at her.
We hooked up over there?
Yeah.
Just give me a voicemail. Let's see what we got. Off the top rope.
Hey, Jordy, what's up, my man? It's Clint from the parish. Man, we burned them trout up this weekend, man. Me and the wife caught 36 speckled trout. All of them over 20 inches, man. Tell Katie I got my package, man. You got a bunch of fishermen down here, Jordy Culotta fans now.
Let's go.
I got 2 questions for you, my man. The first one is this big quarterback battle all year, how close Jaden and Nuss was. Why won't they give, like, say, the first half, like letting us start the first half of a game and give him a whole first half and see how he does? I mean, how could it hurt right now? We're 4-2. I mean, I know we still in the thick of things, but let's give him a shot at that. And why don't they line Kayshawn maybe up at running back and give him the ball at the backfield? They used to do that with Chase a lot, I noticed, when he was playing, and move him around a little more, hand him the ball, at the running back position. And why can't he return kicks and punts? I remember back in the day, Odell used to return kicks and punts, and when wasn't that good, we never had Joe Burrow, and we also when we had Joe Burrow, they need to return punts, and so maybe we could put
how much more time?
Kayshawn back there to return some punts and kicks. I mean, I can't see why it could hurt. It can't hurt, So, well, y'all have a good day, fellas. Thanks for taking my call, and later on.
It's the best.
I love
What did he ask?
I appreciate that.
I'm going to remember now. What was the
5-minute
question?
conversation.
So Nuss can get a half. That was his first
Well, the
question.
quarterback competition was obviously not as close as everybody thought it was.
Even the head coach.
Did he ask why Perkins didn't play?
I have an answer for that.
If he hadn't gone to him by now, it wasn't that close.
Right, but he was the one that said it was neck and neck.
Yeah.
I guess that was probably, the Florida State gamesmanship he was
Don't
trying
want
to
anybody
play.
to transfer.
Yeah, well, you can have them both back next year. Jaden and Nussmeier can both come back, and Walker Howard. Throw Ricky Collins in there. Play all 4 of them.
What was the second question?
Punt return?
Yeah.
He wanted to put Booty back there.
I don't mind it.
I don't mind putting Kayshawn
I
in
don't
the
mind
backfield
it.
either.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Hand him
just
the ball.
find ways to get him the ball.
Well,
Find ways to get him the
Wildcat.
ball.
Yeah.
Next voicemail. Who
I'm
we
glad
got?
you got your merch though, Clint. I
Yeah,
can
me
send
too.
some more down there to the
Yeah, we
fishermen. Let me
should.
know some sizes. I'll shoot some stuff down there.
A lot of XLs.
Lots of XLs.
A lot of double X.
And we got some hold the rope shirts that are pretty nice fishing
Oh,
gear.
bro, we should send them that.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Send them that.
That's right.
Yeah, this is Berlin from Baton Rouge. I just want to know y'all's predictions on the Florida game and go motherfucking Tigers.
So let's talk about Jalen. Katie, what you got? What's your first prediction?
Do I really have to do this?
No. Do you not want to?
No, I just feel like Florida's going to win.
Okay,
And I
good.
feel
Good.
bad
Yeah.
saying that.
Say it. Say it louder. Florida's going to win how much? By how much?
I don't know. I don't want to say. I don't
3,
want to do
7,
this.
10, 2, 10.
I think they're going to win by a touchdown.
Okay,
Coming
7.
from the person that
All right.
doesn't even watch their own team.
Yeah.
I do. I've
We
been
don't
watching
respect it.
Mississippi
Yeah, they're
State.
getting
I
better.
just don't comment on it.
They're getting better.
They are. I get
Yeah,
it.
they
I'm
get
still
better.
not back in bed with them, but
Yeah.
I am watching.
Yeah,
I am
they
watching.
might want to get out of this bed and
I'm
go get in
watching
that
on
bed.
my own, and just by myself. I'm watching. So
28-17.
Eyes
LSU.
at the bar.
Yeah.
I was
see
going
you.
to say 28 Florida, but
Yeah,
okay.
28-17 LSU. I think they can
Oh,
stop.
wow.
I think the big defensive game.
11-point win.
Okay.
I'll take it.
11-point win.
Because I believe in the defense. Where I could
Yeah, I
go
kind of
21,
like LSU this week. I do.
21-17.
I like LSU this week.
I just wanted LSU to score more points than 21. And I want them to actually put some points on the board. That's just what I want personally.
Can we score in the first half?
Can we score in the first? Can it not be
First
17-0?
quarter would be awesome.
Safest bet in America is LSU.
24-21, 24-17.
First half under.
Somewhere around there. Next voicemail, what we got? Stewie. Appreciate you, Jaden. Jaden?
That was Jaden Daniels.
Oh my God. I don't think it was Jalen.
What's up, Jordy?
Balin.
Worm Madonna again, calling from Gonzales, Louisiana. Your relief mayor earlier this morning. But I just want to ask, man, for years, we've been able to line up and run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we run the ball? We got some of the biggest linemen, and I know they're young, but we got some of the biggest linemen in the SEC, like the O-line in the SEC, and we can't run the ball. Why is that, man? I'll be listening to see if your You reply. Hit me up.
Big Worm. Like to hear it, bro. On that smoke early.
That beat.
I'm
a kick and a push.
I love how
That was
you
a nice
that
little
out
giggle
there,
at the
Pete.
end, too.
That's the highest voicemail of all
Right
time. You didn't even have to tell me, yeah.
I'll be listening. Big Worm, you know what? I mean, they've gone through a drought since Geis.
Yeah.
Of not that big time
running back,
home run hitting back. I mean, think back all the way to Kevin Falk. I mean, if you go all the way back to Kevin Falk in succession, I mean, you've had LeBrandon Toefield, Dominic Davis, put Rondell Mealy in between those guys. Cecil Collins, was in there a little bit.
Joseph Adai.
Where am I? LeBrandon Toefield, Joseph Adai, Jacob Hester, Charles Scott.
Stephen Ridley.
Yes, 2011. Michael Ford, Spencer Ware. 2012, same group. Spencer Ware, Jeremy Hill in 2013. 2014 was Leonard Fournette's freshman year. 2017 was Darius Geis's junior year.
Allegedly.
Ever since then, I mean, ever since then, you've been looking to find
Clyde
that
was there.
guy. Yeah, Clyde. Yeah, Clyde. Don't let me forget Clyde. Of just somebody that you could turn, hand the ball to, and they could make something out of nothing. I mean, they could pick up 6 yards when it looked like they were going to lose 3, and they just hadn't had that guy since then.
Is that just change of scheme, you think?
I think change of scheme, and I think, I don't think that, all of those guys were intended to be those types of backs. I mean, I think Ali Broussard was probably more thought of to going to be the feature back than Joseph Adai was going to be. But Adai ended up kind of being that guy for you. I think Richard Murphy was probably the guy that you thought was going to be the player, and Charles Scott was more.
Keelan Williams.
Yeah, Keelan Williams is in there as well. So, I mean, sometimes you just got to hit on one. I think they probably thought John Emery was at some point going to be that dude that they could, just turn and toss the ball to, and he could pick up 9 yards, 8 yards a carry.
Did he have 4 touches against Tennessee?
Yeah, they don't trust him in pass protection.
Yeah,
and ball protection. I mean, he went back-to-back games of putting the ball on the on the ground.
Getting a call right now.
Answer that thing.
So, have a take, don't suck. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hunter Hall in the Rocket City.
All right. What's up, Hunter? How we feeling, buddy?
On your win.
How we feeling? This is a big win. It's a big week. It's a big
pretty
week.
good. Sorry for not getting in last week.
all right.
Hope you had a good birthday, Jordy.
Thank you, buddy.
Unlike Eli Ricks, I'm packing my bag for Knoxville, and I got my cigar ready for Saturday night, baby.
What is going on with Eli Ricks, man? I get where he doesn't fit in with Saban. I think anybody could have told you that last summer, but I mean, since he's been there, it's one thing after another. Has he even made an impact at all?
Return to sender.
Yeah. We don't need him. We don't want him.
Yeah, package undeliverable.
Yeah, right. Address change.
You guys don't. You guys might not know this, but Tennessee hadn't beaten Alabama since the first iPhone was initially released 15 years ago.
Damn, I would have actually guessed it was longer than that. So they've actually won one 15 years ago. So the Alabama side, when you look at this Tennessee edition, what do you see?
Well, and I was going to ask you guys. So I feel pretty good. Bryce is going to be back, and that's a good thing. And I feel looking back on Saturday night, Jalen Milroe can't throw the ball. Get it. We don't have Bryce. If Bryce is there, we don't turn the ball over 3 times out of the quarterback and 1 time from the running back. But hey, we ran the ball 51 times and averaged 5 yards a carry. That's pretty good. A&M knew what we were going to do, and they still couldn't stop it. So I feel pretty good about Saturday.
Well, your best player is Gibbs, right?
The best player comes back.
Yeah.
Well,
Bryce Young.
Best player comes back in Bryce.
Right.
Well, on offense anyway. Will Anderson's the best player on the team. Hey, don't sit your best player on defense ever, let alone per 40.
Thank you, Hunter.
Sorry.
What are you talking about?
One more thing. That last play in the goal line on Saturday night when Jimbo had his almanac of plays and he picked the worst play possible, and then his quarterback threw it 2 yards short of the end zone. I mean, it's pretty pretty terrible. But you know how many times Alabama's front seven has been called for holding this year, not to play penalty hold?
Zero.
Twice, and one has been declined. You're telling me Will Anderson, Dallas Turner, Braswell over there not getting held at all?
Ain't no good, Paul.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, not asking for penalties, but
you don't need the help.
You know, it is what it is.
Yeah. Next time y'all ask for any calls, give me a fucking.
You know, hey, keeping the BK Saban first year comparison thing going. The wheels fell off for Alabama after we beat Tennessee in that 11 o'clock spot in his first year. We were 6-2 going into it, and we lost 4 straight after beating them 41-17. And so I really hope that doesn't happen for you guys. But you know, hey, that's why we love college football, right?
I catch your sarcasm, Hunter. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the road. Have a safe trip. Knoxville should be beautiful this Saturday.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Make sure you call in next week and give me a report, man.
You got it. Good to hear from y'all.
See you.
See ya.
There he is,
The last
Hunter.
time Mississippi State beat Alabama was also in 2006.
Wow, look what's trending. Look what's trending.
They must have been really bad that year.
Voicemail, Stewie, what we got?
New Orleans.
Well, good morning
Jeff
to all of
Kenner.
you in the Jordy Culotta studio.
Oh,
Jeff and Kenner. Hey, I have a really important question. I just want to know, when are y'all going to talk about Perkins only getting 9 snaps?
Jeff.
Anyway, hey, to all those listening, just remember, we tend to forget in all this overreaction about LSU's performance this past week that we are in a total and complete and utter rebuild.
Agreed.
From everything from culture to practice habits to coaching to roster. And if we have it through that lens, it maybe helps us to understand some of the struggles we're going to have going forward this season. All right, guys, have a great day.
Oh, there he goes.
Oh, fading.
I was like, what was that fade out?
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Yeah,
Sounded
Jeff.
nice.
Thank you.
I agree.
Jeff. I agree too.
Have a take, don't suck. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Oh,
Okay.
all right.
Oh, no.
Little stage fright.
Yep.
Another voicemail. Who we got?
They're gonna answer.
Shreveport.
Good morning, guys. This is T-Ray from Kentucky. Yeah, my question for today is, at this point in the season, how would you grade out the position coaches and coordinators? Would you give them all B's, C's? Just let me know how you think they're doing so far. Thanks, guys.
Position coaches grades. Is that what he said?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Let's see. Let's start with, Joe Sloan, the quarterback's coach, I think would probably get
A.
an A? No.
We're just gonna give everybody A's.
No, I'm not going to
Napoleon,
give
Katie's.
everybody A's. C.
I was going to say a C plus.
Really?
I was going to say a C plus
Okay.
for Sloan. I mean, look, here's my grading scale would be the obviously the performance of that position, the preparedness of that position,
Progress.
the progression of that position, and the execution of that
I think
position.
Jaden has progressed a lot.
In what areas?
This is my opinion. I
In
think
what
he's
areas?
done great. I mean, I think he's throwing more. I mean, I think he's performing better, right? He's a little more confident. Y'all don't agree
Yeah,
at
but
all?
he has to get much more confident.
I think
For us
he's
to
getting
win,
into tighter spots when he throws, and he wasn't at
I mean,
first. Right?
the arm talent is not the problem here. Like, his talent is not the problem. It's just
No,
his
I think he's talented.
1-2 to do it.
Well, it's just his execution.
Yeah.
It's just
But I'm saying he's progressing. Do y'all not agree that he's progressing? This last game, I really did see improvements.
There's some give and take there. He has some moments where he looked like he was getting better, and then in moments he was like gun shy.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
And look, I don't think that it's all on the quarterback.
I don't either.
So C
But I
plus,
think-
B minus, B
All right.
minus.
Let's agree. Let's do B plus. Let's meet in the middle.
C.
Is that
C.
the middle?
Let's give him a C. Just a regular C.
Oh, you're killing his GPA.
Hey,
I know.
We got to get an A on the other end. Match that.
I mean,
thing
a lot
up.
of these guys. I mean, like Cortez Hankton, I would say, like incomplete. How do you judge a position that, sure they've had opportunities to catch the ball where they've dropped it, but they've also been open when they don't get opportunities. So I mean, I think that the receivers look ready to play. You know, I mean, I think that they could catch the ball better. I mean, again, I would probably say B. You know, I mean,
You're looking at Hunter's comment.
Jamar Kane and the defensive line. You know, I mean, I think that, you know, you lose your best player on the second snap of your second series of the season, and you're able to plug in a guy like Wingo, who's played a lot of good football for you. You know, I would give Kane, I mean, a passing mark. I mean,
he deserves a B.
Yeah, he's
like the defensive line's playing.
Yeah, he's great. He's keeping it at a high level.
What about Matt House? I think just do like the heavy hitters. Matt House, Mike Denbrock, Polian.
I would say House is a B for sure. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I was in fringe A territory.
Yeah, I think that he was a solid A until last week. You know, and then, you know, that mark.
Yeah.
I mean,
Made a C on the test.
Call it an A minus.
Yeah, didn't show up for a pop quiz.
B plus.
Denbrock.
You know, I think Denbrock is probably a D.
Yeah, his name starts with the letter grade he has.
Yeah, I mean, I think that
yes.
his creativity.
Denbrock needs to drop some class. Yeah,
his creativity.
And he's majoring in creative writing.
When your offensive line is the issue, and you've got guys that are rotating in, look at what Steve Sarkisian does at Texas. Look at what Josh Heupel does at Tennessee. Look at what these offenses that run quick, get the ball out of your hand, put the ball in your playmakers' hands in space, and play just one-on-one. Rather than playing 11-on-11 where you've got three guys that are starting for the first time. You know, I mean, let's say LSU comes out on Saturday and they got Cam Wire back out there. They got Tremont Shorts back out there. Guys that, you know, look.
Tuck the tail.
You want to cover up, quite honestly. The way to do that is just, I mean, getting a 5-yard shotgun, and as soon as your hands touch it, get rid of it.
I think that's LSU's best offense, too.
Throw it quick to Kayshawn. Throw it quick to Malik Neighbors. Throw it quick to John Emery. Throw it and just get at these guys and play one-on-one. That way you're not even worried about what's happening on the backside of what's going on. And I think, to me, the way that you define a good coach is ability to adjust his or her scheme to the personnel. A bad coach, to me, is saying personnel fit to my scheme. Where it's like, look, man, if it's your scheme, recruit the right personnel that can run it. But if you're coming in year one and you're looking at personnel that you've been given that you have to make work, well, you got to get creative. You can't be married to one thing and say, this is who I am, this is the identity of what we run, and this is how we're going to do it. Well, that's not going to work. It's not going to work at a program or at a school that's, you know, struggling with offensive line consistency, doesn't have a run game that they can count on outside of the quarterback, has some really heavy-hitting playmakers on the outside, though. How do you make that your strength and just fertilize that every day? Because everything else seems very hard and clunky and difficult to do, right? I mean, you want to find a rhythm, and it seems like they catch a rhythm when they get into a tempo, get the ball out of Daniel's hands quick, and put it in the playmaker's hand. That's kind of what it feels like they need to run. Mm-hmm. And
works
you just
every time.
Hadn't seen the commitment to it. You've seen it. You just they haven't committed to it. And Brian Polian is
that's a fat F.
No, I mean
that is a flag.
A D. I mean, like, what do you mean?
I feel really bad for saying.
I mean, that's why. I mean, that's why you can't be running a locker room. You know what I mean? Like, you can't hold people's hand, and you can't worry about their feelings in this type of environment. Mm-hmm. You know, I understand what you're talking about, and there surely is, you know, the personality point to it, and there's the human element to it. But in football locker rooms and grading scales within football systems, honesty has to be first. You know what I mean? Like, don't play around and don't try to. That's why when I hear what Brian Kelly takes and covers for the special teams department on Mondays, to a degree I commend him. Like, I understand that it's his name on the head coaching on the door of the head coach's office. You know, he's the one that's making the bulk of the money. He's the one that has to answer the questions, and he takes the bullets. And, you know, for a lot of people, You got to appreciate that. But 6 weeks into the program, people would understand if you have an idea or just give some insight of what the hell's going on. Like, how can it be this much of a breakdown between the sideline and on the field as it seems it is? And I just they're having players only meetings,
right?
And they're leading the players only meetings with special teams. That should tell you everything you need to know.
But it's not just on the coaches, right? Don't y'all feel?
No, it's not. It's not all on the coaches ever. It never is.
Mm-hmm.
But coaching matters.
Yeah.
And for people that say that coaching does not matter, that just
who says that?
There's a crowd that says people. That whoever you can roll out there, LSU's got enough players where they can figure it out and make plays. That's incorrect. You can have a very talented roster and a coaching staff that is not connected, and you can be lost.
Mm-hmm.
And in the same vein, you can have a fantastic coaching staff and a pretty good roster and be good. Look at the New York Giants. Brian Daboll has coached them to 4-1. That guy's an impressive coach. I'm not saying that they're going to finish the season in the Super Bowl. They may not even make the playoffs. But in the first 5 games of his tenure at the New York Giants, looks like they got the right guy, and it looks like that coaching matters. I mean,
and they get their best players the ball.
Yeah, Joe Brady, 2019. LSU's offense looked different, right? Why? Coaching matters. Because a coach came in here with a clear vision and a plan and said, this is what we're running it. If we run it like this, it won't be stopped. They had the right guy that they could put that in and implemented it, and it wasn't stopped.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, coaching, Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, Cody put that in as a good example.
I mean, look at Lane Kiffin's teams. Look how, it's not that crazy. We were, who did we all want? I wanted Lane Kiffin. It was my number one guy because I love the personality. I like the guy, but forget all that stuff. His football teams are well coached.
Yeah, they are.
Come to the SIP.
Always well coached.
He's
always
recruiting
well
that kid
coached.
you showed me.
I saw it. They offered a 10-year-old.
Hey, come to the SIP.
Come to the SIP.
That's so stupid.
Lane Kiffin just gets it.
We have a caller on the phone.
Oh, God. This whole
He's been on hold?
Speak up, Stewie.
Yeah, look, I was going to let you finish the piece.
What's your name? Where you calling from? Have a take, don't suck.
What's up, Jordy? This is Clinton from the Bayou, man, down in the parish. I was listening to y'all bullshit.
What's happening?
Hey, I forgot that. I wanted to ask you 2 questions. I forgot, man. Shit. I didn't get to watch none of the Tennessee game because I was dredging oysters. We caught 137 sacks of oysters, so I was working all day.
Jesus.
So I didn't see a bit of the game.
You didn't miss much.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Why isn't Quincy Wiggins and like Bryce Langston and them rotating in the game at all?
That's a good question. It's a good question. I specifically was asking about where Langston was just because of his experience. I know that Quincy was coming along. He had some injury early in the season that may have set him back, but I don't know where Langston is. I expect Wiggins to get into the lineup at some point. I expect him to play at some point. Why he's not playing right now, I don't have a good explanation for that, but more on Langston would be more concerning for me just because he's been here for a year. He's developed. He's been at this level, and they need some depth. I've wondered the same thing on Langston.
Quincy's on the shield on kickoff return.
Yeah, no, I see him there.
Why is he on the third line of the kickoff team?
All right, hit that like button, share button, comment button. We appreciate you being here. Don't forget about Mic'd Up this afternoon coming your way. Mikey Mock took and Mic'd Up. Make sure and like and subscribe. We will be back with you tomorrow morning.
Mic'd Up 6 to 8. We have Jimmy Burrow.
Okay.
Nice.
And Jimmy Burrow and Danny McRae coming off the Survivor, and I think he just won the challenge on MTV.
Really?
Yeah. So I didn't know he was big into these games, but I guess he kind of has a built-in advantage if he's a former NFL player.
Who knows him? Mikey know him?
Jay Mitch.
Okay.
Jerry Mitchell knows him,
That's
so he's
cool.
going to come on the show, give us a little LSU Florida preview.
Nice.
All right, hit that like button, share button, comment button. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning.